That's right, folks. Coming at you live on the Twitch TV exclusively. This is from when we played video games, and I coulda, shoulda, woulda moved this out of the way, but I also kind of like it. Don't forget, friends, real life video game action is unacceptable. We can solve our problems otherwise, or bash our brains against brick walls. But at the core of the lessons of the world, what else is now? What's wrong? The green screen flickering weirdness is back. I'm not trying to be about that. Let's get out of there. Okay, fine. Hopefully, I guess it is a loose connector, not a cable issue. Forgive me. Where are you? Where am I? Why am I way over here? Greetings, friends. Glasses off. I look all short and not like I'm not. The camera's all weird. I'm not sure what's going on. But let me put that in performance mode. Let me put that in widescreen mode. Now I feel like a normal sized human person, as opposed to just a floating head. Okay. Welcome back. That last episode spiraled out of control in a fun way, and we found some cool stuff that we're gonna now sort of sit on, because we're not gonna get to it right this hot second. Although I was intrigued to find out that and if anybody was following along, there was this one particular platform that has a free forever tier and then additional tiers. And it, very similar to the one we already sort of built out our starting infrastructure in, Author's Forge. It's essentially a enhanced writing studio word processing environment with like AI chat coach and other AI tools buried behind paywall. But there was free ones that like start outside of the website, and you kind of have to remember to bookmark that page in particular and come back to it. Not from, because you won't find any of the things that I was talking about. It was really confusing. But once I figured out how it really did work, it can / sort of fail to work. I'm hoping to revisit it, and I'm hoping that it works correctly this next time. But on the outside, and this is that AI enhanced, because it's not a full on like engineer a prompt and we'll dump you a whole book out. It's a you write here, and then this thing will check your spelling and give you feedback and kind of act like a coach in the chat bar, and has some other more advanced things. But the free AI tools are all kind of like hanging out on the outside of that platform. They're not. I could not find them inside the platform once I set up my account, which is the weird part. I thought they was telling me you'll be able to do these things inside the thing for free. It's not a part of the. That's what motivated me to come in and hit the sign up button. But so what is interesting, and I'm not muted, am I? I've not been rambling on mute, have I? Bum bum bum. No, good. Okay. What is interesting is that I'm slouching and I'm shrinking like my grandma shrank, and it hurts. Okay. Anytime I'm staring up in that direction, it's not because there's something wrong with me. It's because that's the eye line to my Mac, and I'm literally following my mouse pointer to the thing that I'm doing. So I apologize. I'm sure it looks kind of ridiculous. What the F was I saying? But these free things, these free AI tools that it teased, instead of being inside, you sit out there and you actually use them on the outside of the website. The weird part is, though, if you log in, then it logs you in, and then you can't get back out to the outside of the website very easily unless you specifically bookmark that page. And when I did that, when I went back to that, having bookmarked the page, I got back there and I wasn't logged in. So in that instance. But in theory, what it wants you to do is use this free little array of different things that do the same thing, essentially. There's a plot builder, which does churn out some very interesting content based on a prompt that you put in it. And I like that. Even if I never go back inside to that studio, I like that you can copy paste out the text. I will be using that particular plot builder because it does the sophisticated thing, but it does it in a really simple, straightforward way. Sort of that's what I'm looking for in Story DNA, is a plot building system at the end of me tinkering and fucking around and adding things and tweaking it and telling it that I want it to kind of sort of be like this, but like that and that. It'll be like, here's a massive outline / plot breakdown that you can then populate populate in an empty or dynamically populating outline to written form sort of tool, which you can dump that outline into one of the more savvier, it's really about writing a whole book, and tell it well, here you go, here's the title and the thesis and an outline with additional details that I've added. Go churn it out in deep detail. I don't know that Arthur Forge does that. I do think that Arthur Forge, in the forever free, AI free core toolset, gives me the power to develop that robust outline plot point thing, whether I do it by hand, slowly building the infrastructure out there in the bookshelf system, or I run some ideas and then I rework for example, I ran this the same prompt that I've run now, I think, in Claude, but I ran it there is the more advanced the writer needs to write the thing or else the world will end prompt, the one that has the more stuff in it, just the line where I put my variables in that I did originally, not with AI help, and it came up with a story. I didn't really read it. I just went, ooh, cool. It's got plot points, it's got timing, it's got details and sub variables. Let's see what we can copy paste that. I'm gonna let my brain forget about it, and then I'm gonna come back to it and be like, okay, I'm gonna read this and rip it apart, and rewrite, add, take away, subtract, expand upon, add more flavor and detail, reorganize as I see fit, and then we'll see about interfacing what I render from that with one of the other tools, either directly over into Author's Forge. Now it doesn't write for you. I don't think that Author's Forge, even I think if you played for the highest professional tier, maybe I think at that point it does do generative AI pages per section based on prompting or whatever was happening before or whatever you want it to get to. I don't know. I've given myself now way too many fun, and most of which look sane, look reasonable, look usable on the desktop, mostly on the interwebs. A couple of things that are actually apps that I've installed or downloaded that I've not looked at yet, that I forgot about, on the iPad. And there are more that we have not even looked at yet on the iPad, on the cartoony, comic booky side, and those are the ones I wanted to sort of return and delve into. Still trying not to overwhelm myself or anybody trying to follow along by just spewing weird generative content that gets packed away but not really addressed. But first, let's visit the actual slowly growing trifecta trilogy triptych collection. Which that's a mouthful, and I don't know if that's the correct order or not. But let's check it out first in comic booky chat show mode, and then in a hot second, which I want to visually inspect. Jump through the infinity portal to my desktop with me, friends. Please and thank you. And hello, the backside of Twitch. Everything's looking mighty good. The lesson plan. Oh, I need to move this keyboard. Pardon me, friends. Alright, so part of my problem is that just staring at a blank page and trying to write in a big long Word document or, blank text document with no real structure and no real tool set to work with, it's pure writer's block. And it's frustrating because it's not that I do not have ideas. Let me be very, very... Hold on. Wait, back it up. Let me be very, very, very clear, friends. Especially for anyone that may theoretically be watching this now or in the not too distant future out there and doubting what I just said. The following is like the bittersweet and sour burden / tragedy / utter failure up until now, and I'm trying to live that zen life is always just right now and it's never too late to get started and find success doing something. I've had this tumultitude of vision, lucid, full spectrum story idea explosions trapped in throbbing little packets of clustered ideas that interrelate and that obviously have expanded and evolved and been impacted and changed and undeniably altered by other people's media and other people's art and other people's cinema and other people's films. And then I'll always try to actually, stop and reflect on when we encounter stuff that I'm like, oh, I know where inspiration is coming from. But I digress. I've always struggled sitting with a pen and paper, sitting with a pencil and a journal or a sketchbook, sitting in how to write short story class, where it was still because we didn't have this kind of fancy schmancy collaborator without someone to talk to about it, which in most academic settings you're discouraged because that's sort of you could be just trying to ride someone else's coattails, which everyone is deeply subconsciously traumatized by that whole lesson, and by the fact that there is in real life the fact that when we do, there's the cliche. We all know the cliche that we all know that one classmate, to not use the word friend, that one classmate, that one fellow scholastic member of the student body that would either try to do all the work, try to control the group project, or try to do none of the work and try to manage everybody else doing all the things and then them doing hardly anything, and vice versa. But I'm genuinely, and let me make sure that I'm actually spiking the camera and looking you dead in the eye. I am genuinely, dear friends, absolutely for reals. It hurts me that I'm sitting here in isolation with no friends to collaborate with, in a bleeding heartache, I go to sleep crying kind of way. I was born and gifted talent, skills, temperament, methodology of thinking, and then I studied with that knowledge as my North Star to try to be a intense, deep, super collaborative, low ego theater person. And in the theater space, in the collaborative circle, I really do bring something that usually kind of knocks the socks off of people. Not that I'm the one that's coming up with all the ideas, but that through this weird hippy dippy theater new age mojo ritual of sharing, talking, collaborating, saying yes and to ideas, and then thinking out loud about the stuff that we think about loud, and then everyone writing and like contributing that writing to me in the center as like a whirlpool blender of all the words. They and I eventually create and collaboratively write something together with me sort of at the helm, penning the final draft and putting my signature tone and style and all that on it, as like the auteur of the creator of the process. But it renders something when it works, and when I've got a group, a circle, it takes a minimum of 3. Which is why, like, me and Claude might be enough. Me, Claude, and ChatGPT might be enough. Especially if some of the just like it's a typewriter are also AI driven, and the fact that AI is in everything now. Like, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, one of the things I should we be doing is visiting Evernote and going, here's a bundle of ideas, visiting the ideas. Doing the process you've now actually the show is now actually started to reveal me doing, which is like zoning out and not talking and like typing on a thing. It seems that listening to it be read by the robot voice kind of helps, because I'm like, all right, it puts me back in the theater collaborative development. Get up on the boards and read it. You don't have to move around. You don't have to look at each other. Just say the words as if you were getting ready to explore it and do a scene. All right, stop. Rewrite. Let's hear it again. Okay. Anyways, sorry for over-explaining. There is the sad theater collaborator archetype story that I'm going to write one of these days. It's buried in all these crazy, tumultuous, way too many ideas for characters and stories that I would love to write. And now that we're like toying and tinkering and playing with AI, there's going to be this like cornucopia, over the top, way too much excess of what seems like might be interesting, usable content. But we're gonna mulch that. We're gonna process it. We're gonna blender it down and inside out and strip it of the things that don't make sense and that don't apply to the Zeppoverse, even though it's trying to make them. I'm ultimately going to. You're gonna find out that like by doing this weird recursive process, I'm ultimately going to be activated and will write more and more stuff that is a synthesis and integration of all those things and or something completely other. And what everyone that for like, you know, a proof of concept many years ago, I'm starting to sound like I can probably almost say 20 some odd years ago or more. No, it wasn't that long ago. 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, it was more than 15 years ago. Anyways, I don't know. Some unknown, and it doesn't matter anyways, none of your business, years ago, I tested my version of the process that was percolating in my brain back then in a theater space with like amateur aspiring theater people that were new to the theater scene and hadn't done anything before there and didn't have any training and were just plain old ordinary people with other skills. Some of them musicians, but not theater people, you know, like they had studied an instrument, but not how to act or how to write. And we went from nothing to a painful process of them getting used to speaking and uttering things and following my direction and doing it in a performative way, not in a you're trying to be natural way, but in a weird. Like and I don't mean to disparage them. They were raw and rank amateurs, and as were we all, who at some point became professionals or whatever. And even in my professional life, it's almost kind of like a wah 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 that I can just barely call myself professional, former professional theater or theater professional person, because I got paid to do stuff, but not very much, not very well, not very luxuriously, not for very long, and not in a upwardly mobile path that led somewhere. But I digress. That's not bitterness. That's just a statement of like, that's how too many markets in this world function, even though people don't quite realize it. Or that it's obfuscated really well. It's hidden away pretty well. But that's a whole disastrous level of potentially controversial pitter-patter. What are we doing here? Besides back at the job of trying to harvest fun, weird widgets to become golden MacGuffins and/or dialogue somewhere in a story, and/or just fire up the old theater brain so that I can sit here and pretend that there's a circle or a triangle of people around me. For better or worse, I've chosen to, despite my own disagreements and disappointments and upsetness and reasons to I could also totally boycott all AI platforms. I'm going to encroach upon using it because I'm at my wit's end in terms of like trying to use these tools of online social media self-commodification to like follow my dreams and make money doing something fun and creative and using my talents. And I'm hoping that between now and a year from now, we'll have more than one book. But if it goes terribly, tooth-grindingly, too slow, off the rails, too slow, at least one book. If we have at least one book and progress made, like significant progress made, because I'll probably be doing like rotationary, like trying to work on it simultaneously the way I utterly failed at making any progress with video game gameplay of like, hey, let's start Red Dead Redemption and then switch to something else and then switch to something else and then switch to something else. Like that doesn't ever get any gameplay like besides the random spectacle. But that's what the idea behind the chaos roulette wheel of rotation of fried chicken chaos. Not that I love me a good like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's got to be the Colonel's Secret recipe though, and like the extra spicy crunchy one. Okay, what am I saying? What are we talking about? I don't know, but clip all of that eclipse as a behind the scenes. We're back at it. Invitation for more people to come join this party. The goal, friends, is to write a big, giant, mind-bogglingly bizarre collection of books. And there is a guiding vision that is quite specific. And a methodology hiding somewhere deep inside of all this madness. Okay. Let's welcome to the Zeppoverse. Oh, because I'm not wearing my glasses, it's hard for me to know that I'm clicking on the things that I want to click on. Yeah, that was the thing I wanted to click on. There we go. Real quick. Welcome to the Zeppoverse. Please sit back, relax, close your eyes. Join me in the center of the theater of your imagination in the middle of your mind. And step through the infinity desktop portal of infinities. Woohoo! I need to put it back in performance mode though, sorry. but we saw it for a glimpse. Okay, where are we? Hello, Google. Should I ask Google AI an interesting, weird question? I know. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Google knows me. Let's see if Google AI has got something to say about our little project here. Kaboom. Oh! No, the Xenoverse. No, what is the Zeppoverse? Action role-playing video game. No, what is the... Did I spell my brand name correctly? No. Let's force it. Oh, look at that. No. It found me. Alright. What is the Zeppoverse? You may be asking yourself. Does this AI have a reader thing? Draft in Gmail, Google Docs. Look, if I was using Google Docs, I probably have some like weird folders full of little scrappy ideas and notes and things that I wanted to pursue in Google Docs, and I should probably look that up. Huh. Look at that. Just Google the Zeppoverse and you will find my writing. Okay, we're gonna, for funsies and for archival purposes, because we this project is, if nothing else, super self-recursively meta redundant. I don't have time to create the vision that I have. But imagine that there were multiple me's, multiple Mr. Zeppos of multiple weird, like how there's that, what's that show? I don't remember what it was called, but it was a show. It might have been Hulu. It might have been that other channel / streaming TV platform, like industry platform that has green logos. But there was a TV show about based on a book, I believe, about a town where all the different variations or variants of the multiversal, all the different ideas of Jesus hung out or did something. I don't know. I remember just seeing a commercial going, what the fuck? I envy that. I can't watch it. I envy it a little too much. Anyways. But imagine that I've been live streaming / podcasting for a limited amount of time. Imagine I'd been doing it decade after decade, generation after generation, in different sort of people forget about me and then remember again. But it's a different, everyone assumes it's it's Mr. Zeppo Jr. carrying on the tradition. Always being sort of viable and with an audience and finding fans and finding followers, but never becoming a global marketplace, household name, dominant, top of the list, kind of mogul, but always aspiring to. Conversely, secretly, also simultaneously being in shapeshifter bodies, dysmorphia horror show way, also am in the multiversal, he is also all those actual moguls. But in terms of I'm here to warn you and disclaimer all this stuff, he's always sort of been in the fringes of pop culture and media and throughout all of history in a funny, comical. It should remind people a little bit of the old Donald Duck and Goofy and Friends Disney historical mini documentaries about weird stuff where they would, they'd go and like jump through time and reenact like an explanation about how civilization evolved during that period, or whatever. Except that it's my character doing this gimmick through time and never quite getting enough attention to really make an impact. Because of what? Fate? Because of incompetence and being just a too smart for his own good fool of a moron that's too smart is so smart he's stupid? Ooh, clip that, Eclipse, because that's there's some deep, like, self-loathing character motivation. Huh. Ow, that also sort of zinger that strikes close to home. Is there a conspiracy theory against him? Is he being prevented and or muted and or what's the word? What do the kids say these days? When nobody interacts with their social media posts, I've been shadow banned throughout the epoch. I want to do like several takes on that, by the way, where sometimes it's just a quick little weird mini flashbacks to Zeppo failing to do a certain message or a certain thing or a certain not disclaimer, dissertation of important thesis material, and then flash forward to when it's like, oh well, now it's a bit too little too late, friends, but everyone's funny like, oh, you were right all along. Wah, wah, wah. Hello to anyone that's just recently jumped in and checking things out. I am a fictional character from a book series you've never heard of. Living, artificial, silica-based, nanotechnology built, living, skin job-like robot human simulacrum that passes so good you guys won't ever believe me that I'm a robot, but I am effectively, if we lived in Battlestar Galactica universe, you would hate me for being a robot. I'm just a skin job, but it's more than a skin job. Unlike like Battlestar or in Terminator, it's more than skin deep. It's down to like the nanotechnology nanobots that comprise my living silica body components are smaller than the subcellular infrastructure that the most human investigations would measure and try to compare. For the record, disclaimer, friends, I do not believe myself to be a silica-based nanotechnology living polymorphic cybernetic robot being trapped here in your dimension, trying to warn you about your own self-annihilation and the ultimate, like, scary, deep, dark disclosure that you're not quite ready for. But the character that I'm writing does. I just want you to know. I, as an author, as a writer and a designer of characters, and as a soon-to-be, I guess, AI generating content creator, which may or may not land me on some people's wrong side of the issue, but hopefully we'll get enough eyeballs that I can actually survive this dystopian hellhole before it actually becomes a true post-apocalyptic dystopia. It's not. People say we're living through dystopian times. Like, we're not there yet. We're in like pre-dystopia. We see all the red flags and the warning signs. All the entropy towards dystopian apocalyptic disaster are engaging in the metaphysics and the civics physics and the societal, psychological physics of our world, but we're not actually there yet. We're not in Blade Runner yet. Don't kid yourselves. Now, do not underestimate. Let us not accidentally be at fault for ignoring, neglecting, and minimizing the countless hundreds of thousands, if not actual millions and millions, if not maybe billions of people in this world that are currently, as we speak and try to entertain ourselves for my self-commodification, out there just suffering, right? Let's remain Zen, truth, grounded in the world. This life is suffering. You, dear audience, when you stop by to check things out, are probably have just been suffering and or will be suffering soon enough. And I do what I do in hopes that sometimes some of the weird things that I say may help distract from and or alleviate someone's measure of suffering. Maybe not the whole dose, because the world is literally on fire. And wow. Insert snide Max Headroom-like denunciation of humanity and its stewardship of the planet. I'm taking my glasses off angrily, except not really, because they're already up and broken. And I spent way too much money on those. I should have bought glasses somewhere else where they were cheaper and had better frames. But I digress. Dear friends, please join me in a moment of thinking about that, of honoring that, of acknowledging that, of honoring that, because if we don't, what are we? Have we forgotten our humanity? For a moment. That includes you, DJ Zed. Just a moment. And be zen about it. Touch that power of that emotionality, of that pain, of other people's pain, and indulge in the empathy and the empathizing and the sympathy and the sympathizing. And F all those people that say that empathy is a bad thing or a toxic thing. No, it's not. You just need to know how to actually use it, and you need to understand what the F it is. You fools. Okay. Thank you for indulging in a weird, bizarre little opening ritual that I'd forgotten to do in a long time. I hadn't done that in a long time. Those are all the wrong graphics. Graphics alert. I forgot to put on the right graphics. Do I have something about Zeppoverse world building? No. I think I was uploading new versions instead of keeping an entire collection, all the different ones here online all the time. I don't know which is funner, better, safer, worse, but oh well. Boom. Hello, friends, and welcome back. I'm having fun. Oh yeah. We're going to revisit a little something here on the desktop. And then we're going to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick a quote, unquote, AI-powered cartoon comic book generator making app that we have on the... We're going to see which, if any of them, have a robust free tool base, if at all. Now, I'm not in dire need because I already have some pretty with ChatGPT. The history, it knows the history of my characters and whatnot. A little bit, not the full history, but the history of what we've talked about, which I gotta express to you is not. I've not told them the complete story. Although I think I have explained in great detail, in fact, spent a lot of time developing in collaboration with ChatGPT, in $20 pro mode, and I think also in free mode, about the Fleet Armada spaceship and the details about, like, it's consumed everything and now humanity is just brains in a jar. That I've talked to about it. Some of the other things going on in the story and the details, like the specific details of what I set up in the sample books, I have not talked to them about it, because those books are like decoy settings in a way that I don't know I can or should explain right now. Spoiler alert. Some of those books, not all of them. For example, insert name of book here. What? Johnny Applewhite said. The Many Adventures of Johnny Applewhite said is one of those books where everything that's going on in the adventures and is not real. It's not a real person somewhere. Even though I'm going to write it as if it were, and we want to create thriving, living, interesting characters in that world where there is a Johnny Apple of weed. And for those who do not know who Johnny Appleseed was, there's a Johnny Appleseed of weed. That's what Johnny Apple Weed Seed, or Wed said, Weed Seed is. In a strange, bizarre, alternate timeline of unknown, perhaps future, post-decline, post-apocalyptic event, non-calendar, we don't know what the new year is. So hello! What now, you say? Welcome. Sorry, I did not get an audio alert. I need to go tweak settings to see if there's a way to tell it to be like, every time someone chats, give me an alert. Enzo423. A what now? I presume that is a question. Please don't feel offended, but I encourage you to use question marks at the end of your question sentences so that I am sure that that's what you're asking. What now? I don't know. I say a lot of crazy things, my new friend, my new visitor of the show. I don't know what you may be a what now about it. If you're talking about, okay, sir, I just got here. Hello and welcome. Welcome. Well, then you just stumbled into a madhouse. I am. Brace yourselves. Allow me to reintroduce myself momentarily. And thank you for being here. Welcome. If you are about to spam my channel with advertisements for a third-party platform selling shady, questionable services that probably violate the end-user license agreement of these platforms that we're on here, you are warned now not to do so. If you're an actual human being curious about reading and writing, welcome to the Zeppoverse. Dun dun dun. I am your humble host, fictional character, and living simulacrum, artificial, silica-based, nanotechnological, animatronic robot being from a parallax dimension that totally passes for human, by the way. In this real world, if someone were to report me as like being an alien or being a robot, and then like authorities of whatever secret agencies came to check me out, they'd find a real normal person. But in the action adventure sci-fi rom-com fan fiction genre mashup endless book series that I was supposed to write with a team of different teams to build a multimedia empire with, but utterly failed to do so in this real life, I'm now going to retcon history and write book series about the action adventure characters as if stuff successfully happened elsewhere or is about to happen elsewhere in the world. I'm going to live out my dreams by writing the novelizations of them. my superhero dreams, my theater production dreams, my social justice warrior dreams, my action adventure spy novel dreams, and these are all books that I, the action adventure superhero Mr. Zeppo, once lived through in another universe, but I failed to bring those books with me and now have to recreate them. In real life, I've been a lifelong live stage theater technician and performance professional whose career derailed and dead-ended, and now, unless I move to some other state, I got to do something else here while I'm here, and I've got a roof over my head and the technology at my disposal. So here we are, pivoted to experimental content creation on many, 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 many different platforms. But right here, the purple platform known as Twitch is currently now the new primary home for the brain dump that is my project of too many projects. You are smiley emoji face, dowdy face. Good luck to you, bro. You're underrated like your vibes. Thanks. I appreciate it. Wait till you find out what happens in my book series. Wait till you find out what terrible, dark, secret message my character, the living nanotechnology, silica-based artificial animatronic robot person from a parallax dimension, was sent here to warn you, silly humans, you ambulatory meat sacks of silica-based, carbon-based bags of blood and bone. Warning. I was sent here to warn you about stuff, and that message has been damaged and partially redacted. But we're going to write the book series live on stream, as well as return to the variety chaos, factual missing out on overcompensation playorama of trying to play way too many games in rotissemat roulette wheel rotation. But I've got a couple of obsessions in the gaming environment that I'm gonna try to play at, but I've reprioritized, elevated, and put on top of, and currently am in like a hyperfixation mode of like getting back into the real life 8-hour-a-day work grind of writing my book series, which someday I may write enough to complete something seminal, something complete, at least a circuit of 3. If I can get 3 books, if I get 3 sets of 3 triptych trilogy book series out the door, which would be 3 and 3 is 6, 7, 8, 9 books. That's, well, according to that one guy's system, I would definitely be able to do that in 1 year, because he promises 1 book a month. So 12 books in 1 year. But we're going to be experimenting with various different tools, and I've been babbling about stuff. Let's get actually into it. We're going to jump through the Infinity desktop portal of Infinity. Oh yeah, I've been over here. Come here. Let's go chat show mode for the desktop. So my headquarters for where the... and thanks again, Enzo. Be sure to look me up on the internet. Type in your nearest search bar, what is the Zeppoverse? And then come on through and check it out. Oh, look at that. Sure. Rock on. What do you do, Enzo? What are you about? What drew you in? Why did you drop by? And thank you for not being shy and actually saying hi. And if you're not in a rush, stick around, because we're just getting warmed up. That's fun. That's a fun... I'm glad that happened. But that's not the website I was actually trying to find. So, in real life, I'm coming. You're looking for fellow writers in this category. LOL. Well, hello. I am a lifelong aspiring novelist, screenwriter, stage play writer that has always been utterly backed up, jammed, suffering crippling anxiety-riddled writer's block. Primarily because, and forgive me if you've already heard me say this, but it's worth saying again since you brought up the fact that you're actually looking for other writers in the thing. But if you're looking for other writers in the thing to solicit them shady-ass services that violate the terms and conditions and the end-user license agreement of Twitch or any other live stream platform, you will be warned, reprimanded, and advised to cease and desist. But so far you sound cool. You sound like a real, actual human person. Unless, of course, you're someone trying to... Are you a real person that has got a program that you're trying to sell or a service that you... I get a lot of graphic artists. Dear friend in graphic artistry. Dear brother in graphic artistry. May I entice you to look at some of the graphics that I, me, myself, and I have created for me, myself, and I. In fact, if I was going to try and be a freelance artist for someone else, I could be doing what those people are doing, but I'm not. It's too much work as it is to make all of this fun graphicsy things for me. But I did it, right? Like the slideshow that I'm showing you. That's just a quick... No, I am here just to relate. I usually write fanfics. I'll make sure to look you up. Okay, you write fanfiction. Interesting. Now I want to hear about your fanfiction. Here is a vibey coincidence. I jam a dash of fanfiction in the ingredients of my Zeppoverse universe world building project. You stumbled into this. This is the official title of this show. The Zeppoverse Literary World Building Project. And I, too, will be writing or invoking the fan fiction banner. But I don't know if I will be considered typical fan fiction. Mostly because I will probably be considered mostly an original science fiction with a transcendentalist Zen Buddha spirituality twist, with a few other words thrown in. Action, adventure, sci-fi. I'm very tempted to make what I'm about to write because I really have not started writing it yet. I've been experimentally developing my ideas and my understanding of them and looking for tools to use. And I am genuinely thinking about making at least some of the books have spicy, naughty, approaching but not being full on quite 50 Shades of Grey level weirdness, but spicy, a little dash of spicy in the rom-com department, in the romance department sells. But also, I want to write fan fictions about video games, about other comic books and movies, and just everything that I love. I'm like a pop culture nerd that does not memorize facts and figures and dates, but rather deeply, deeply, deeply loves big picture ideas that emerge from my consumption of pop cultural media stuff. And as you may or may not have heard me say earlier, I am by birth, by goddess-given gifts, and by diligent professional training and 25 years plus experience in the theatrical arts, live performance and development and production and all that, a hyper meta collaborator. I'm about collaboration, but people always look at collaborators with suspicion because they think that there's some sort of scam going on. But I have proven my proof of concept and written a play many years ago from blank slate, from zero on a page, to a finished script that impressed people, left some people emotional and with tears in their eyes, and some people astounded as if they'd seen some mind-boggling special effects. And it was developed it, wrote it, and performed it in a tiny little itty-bitty amateur storefront theater company with professional-grade lights, I need to clarify, and professional-grade sound design, which is key, and professional-grade me at the helm, steering the development and the collaboration process and the development of the various stages of the text and blah, blah, blah. That was very early on in the development process. Now I'm much further on and have utterly failed to find trustworthy collaborators that get my vision, understand what I want to write, and understand that my vision includes room for everyone else's vision as I return in kind the services that people deliver into my projects, so that their work can exist standalone, separate, but also have tie-ins into the Zeppoverse literary cosmology. But yeah, so rock on. I rambled there for a hot minute. I hope that Eclipse makes a really nice, long magic movie loop of that. Tell me about your fan fiction. Give me have you completed things before? What are we looking at? We are on this. Good. Fine. We're going to go to the Infinity Desktop Portal of Infinities. And jump through the portal. And we're going to go. Are you familiar with, and this is not me being a hypocrite, I'm not trying to sell you. I use this platform, and I find it really awesome. When people read there, it's great to have that exposure and that community. So sorry for throwing a barrage of rambling and then questions and then random new information at you. But here are the sample chapters of some of the books in my book series of Too Many Book Series for people to read and comment on. And I'm about to do a long form live stream, almost daily project of revisiting these, updating them, preparing them to migrate into the new official from rough draft to final draft production workflow pipeline that I'm experimentally developing for myself using multiple tools from various sources, most of which are involved in the process because I appreciate what they are capable of doing. They have a robust, free, forever core product and appealing, useful. Especially if I start making a little bit of money on a regular basis, soon to be paid, I'll be willing to pay for it, a paid tier that will be helpful in the future. And that is something that actually contributed to helping me achieve my vision of activating my collaboration mind, even though I have no one to collaborate with, and help me manage one of the downsides of writing, as you may already know. All right, I see your new chat. I'm gonna get to it in a second. As you may already know, if you start dabbling in writing, especially if you're dabbling in experimental writing and or with generative AI tools of any kind, some people are against them. I respect that. Some people are against AI completely at large. I respect that too. Some people are. I totally understand and agree with the problems with the way it's deployed in terms of how it would scrape our art and without compensating us. Those of us who are artists and writers that already have stuff out there. And For example, I just searched myself, which means Google AI has scraped my content and can summarize it and re-represent it, which is a little, crazy and creepy, but there it is. It's a little creepy. But the Worcester part is the much more Worcestershire sauce part, the part that is more egregiously annoying and difficult to cope with, and needs reform, which is where I stand, is the over expansive build out. Most of which I don't even know for which product, which tools, which systems are these crazy new intense build out things even utilizing. But that's a whole bunch of pins on the corkboard about reality. But luckily there are examples here and in other places in the world of doing it better, greener, less toxic, less deadly to other people and animals in the immediate vicinity, less enormous and way overbuilt, and less wasteful of water, and less polluting of our air and ground and water. And so I will use AI tools to demand the AI systems get regulated and that there's reform in that direction. I'll say that randomly. Okay, so you were adding, you're looking for fellow writers in your category, right? And you said you're just here to relate. You write fanfics. It's usually what ifs, and most of them are ongoing. LOL. And you agreed with something that I was rambling about the AI and the industry and where it's at. Exactly. Cool. All right. So you write what if scenarios about other people's characters, other creators, other intellectual property established. I don't know which. You're being vague, and that's fine. You don't need to tell me. And they're ongoing, which means you're posting like episodic things somewhere, or writing it in an episodic way, and it's not anywhere near done. Rock on. I rambled about earlier. I consider one of the genre mashup ingredients in my book series filled with too many triptych 3-part trilogy book series is fan fiction, because I want to homage and reference and thank all the other stuff that's influenced me and been awe-inspiring and been beautiful, and that I've loved reading or watching or consuming in some way or another. And I've been talking about some of that stuff on and off and on, as I was preparing to delve into whatever we were going to do today. But I have delightfully completely derailed myself. But yeah, these are some of my titles, and there's way too many more. In fact, I jokingly say that there are 4,420 books in the Zeppoverse book series. I just haven't decided if that's titles with a multiple of 3, because each title is a 3-volume series, or complete ultimate count of individual books independent of whether they're part of a 3-part book series or not. One makes the total count explode in triplicate. The other makes for a weird, odd rounding error, which I don't know how to solve, except for maybe making independent standalone books that are not part of 3-part series every once in a while to round it out. But I digress. There's too many ideas. They've been stuck in my head, evolving, changing, mutating, and obviously being inspired and influenced and impacted by other stuff and world events and the news and the historical crazy, batshit crazy things we're living through. And here we are. The most important books, if you wanted to get a flashbang sense of where things are going without really knowing where things are going, I would encourage you to scan through. Skip the first 3 up here, because they need major rewrite. These 3 books, they were originally sort of just a repository of odds and ends that I knew I needed to capture and develop and I wanted to get some feedback on from whatever little bit of audience, but I hadn't really quite figured out placement for yet. So, if you want to get a real sense of this is the central pillar, 0 hour. I need to add one more word because it's in it. We're not going to go anthology. It's going to be in. I don't want to do volumes 1, 2, and 3. I want to do. I tried looking at parts 1, 2, and 3. Oh, join me over here. This is where we're going to be working as we launch this show. This show is literally just being launched right now as you join us. Enzo. Sorry, I couldn't remember what it was. So this is going to be a handy dandy organizational writing tool that's sort of like this is the central spine. We will take text to other places, muck about with it, find out what we really are going to bring back to the final draft, and then this is where it becomes the final draft here. Speaking of which, 0 hour parts 1, 2, and 3 I don't like. I need to find what the right, just like what I did with this one, I did the right thing. The 0 hour world building anthology. That makes it clear. Or no, not 0 hour. The Zeppoverse world building anthology. It makes it clear exactly what it actually is. It's short. It's a collection of short stories and poems and essays and snippets and dream sequences and whatever that contribute to the world building lore and the backstory of whatever's going on in the central arc of the book series that I'm developing, which we are generally, for ease of reference, going to be just referencing generally as the Zeppoverse. But 0 hour over here, oh no, we already clicked there. 0 hour is we need something else. I need another word. And I've been mulling this over for a second. So that the volume 1, 2, and 3 are parts 1, 2, and 3 make a little bit more sense. But 0 hour what? 0 hour countdown? Oh, then it can be 3, 2, 1 in reverse, in counterintuitive reverse order, countdown order. I don't know. I'm going to let that percolate and see if better ideas come along. But I do have a strong suspicion that I'm going to be calling it 0 hour something. And then maybe all of these are going to be volume 1, 2, and 3. And where that's going to be the permanent naming convention. Because I like that better than part. But I digress. So that's the book series that this 0 hour 1, 2, and 3 might be the book series that I try to actually sit down and write from beginning to end first, instead of mucking about, tinkering with multiple books in a rotationary, like as inspiration arrives. Now that I've got like an arsenal of tools and the beginnings of like a workflow, a pipeline workflow strategy. So you've joined us at a very interesting time, Enzo. All right. So what ifs? Give me a what if. Like what's one of your ongoing what ifs? Does it have a title? Is it characters I would recognize from an intellectual property I'm familiar with? Give me a little something here to chew on there, buddy. I promise I won't steal your ideas, as long as you promise not to steal mine. Clip that, Eclipse. Gonna make sure we share that so that the wider public is made aware. All eyes attention on that. Don't steal my shit, and I won't steal yours. Welcome to the Zeppoverse Literary World Building Project live stream show extravaganza. I'm already really exhausted and kind of burnt out and tired. And today, in these last couple of days, in launching this new approach with new ideas, I've not actually done a lot of writing. Been doing a lot of like thinking, a lot of a fair bit of writing, especially if you count prompt engineering. That involves engineering it so that the AI is thinking about things that I want it to understand in my terms, that are my artistic choices. But also a lot of window shopping. Doing a lot of window shopping because I want to overcompensate for not having two collaborators sitting in a triangle in front of me, in a trifecta triangular arrangement in front of me. So we can boop, 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 rotate and create the vortex that is necessary. I'm going to cannibalize all of my own existing original actual work and feed it through a new experimental process where I turn to a small collection of, as of yet not finalized, team list of different chat empowered or enabled or agented tools, and then bring it back here to the home base, which is AI free, although I could utilize some of the AI tools that they offer too. But this I'm strongly feeling is going to be the final destination of, we're going to start here, planning stage wise, start writing some this is where I'll be crafting prompts instead of over in the random generic notepad from now on. Once we get the new workflow corrected and we've found all the things we want to migrate over, then we'll be tinkering with them here and then going to one of our various AI-powered collaborators and to engage in whatever interesting dynamic they provide, and then maybe taking a tour, visiting other ones of those, all the while live streaming it as a process, so that I'm constantly talking about it in an improvisational, creative, keep the mind juices flowing and the image channel open, and then come back here when my fingers need to type, blah 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 blah. Final draft goes here. Is going to go here, right? Because this has got really strong infrastructure. I didn't need to come up with writing all those. This is some infrastructure that is like uniform writing infrastructure for your basic novel in your contemporary marketplace. And it's got some other interesting tools. And we're still very early days with this. We're about to take a multi-part course that will prompt us to write a new short story as it onboards us to teach us how the different aspects of this elegantly designed and super simple and easy to underestimate looking studio work. And meanwhile, we'll also learn along the way about the things we could be using, the AI tokens that we could unlock through one of the various pay systems, the various pay options that they've got. And we'll also be taking a tour of similar, adjacent, and or very different tools to see what interesting things we can implement. And it doesn't stop there. Wait, there's more. I've been forgetting repeatedly to grab these earlier before going live so that they're handy dandy to lift and talk about now. And now is the perfect time to actually talk about them. So I'm going to break my mojo and get up off the chair and go get these. Some of these will seem ancient. I'm going to laugh and giggle when we look in at the print publication date of when I bought them. Because these are a bunch of books in the help you write your book and get your creativity flowing and plot it out and build your system and build the habits and da-da-da. There's one that's even literally like how to write a book in 30 days. Go. So that might be the default master plan book the tool that we utilize. So give me a second. We're gonna go look at those. I'm gonna go grab those. Where are we? What are you guys looking at? Camera close up. Let's go desktop portal. There's no camera there. That's fine. So I've been burying, like logging random ideas, interrelated ideas, bits and pieces, things, starting points, middle points, end points, with no organization in an app like this in multiple places. So I need a lot of assistance sorting it out, writing out. I also got, don't even get me started. I'm not even going to launch Evernote because it's a drain on the system. But there's actually a library of like, this is what my books are going to be, where I've organized them into like coherent stacks of like, these are all belong together. And have titles and the beginnings of like, I was going to try and populate the books there, but it doesn't do it from a book writing perspective. It does it from a word processing perspective. Blah. So I'm trying to migrate multiple chunks of text and ideas from here and from Wattpad and from sources I may find on other devices, including decades-old laptops, knock on wood. So join me for that adventure. But right now, what was it we're gonna look at? Oh, right. Wattpad, 0 hour. If I may humbly suggest, anyone that's finding this interesting and curious and wants to get a sense of whether or not I can actually write coherently, because I know that I ramble and I speak and I ideate and I word spew, but that's only like the like that's me turning myself into an idea AI generative model, and then we go into shaping, and then we go into editing, and then we go into finalizing. And I can actually write pretty interestingly. I humbly invite you to come read 0 hour here on this platform, Wattpad, which I am allowed to promote here on this other platform, Twitch. It doesn't mind. And come on by and check it out. Give it a read. Be harsh if something really sucks. If you really do not get something, that's fine. I'm openly inviting trolls, everyone from one end to the other of the spectrum of trolls and haters, to super fans and some other category of fandom and endorsers and supporters. So super fans and supporters. So come on through. This is the flagship book. If we're going to focus on one, once we get really cozy and established in Author's Forge and the cornucopia or the constellation of other tools we're going to be utilizing in rotation, we're going to then laser focus on first making sure that we migrate and update as we migrate the content that's already here on Wattpad, transform it, upgrade it. Like, we're going to migrate this through an updrafting experimental process of dragging it across these multiple platforms and seeing what comes out of that. And then bringing it home over here to Author's Forge as the ultimate final destination of when it's done and we're gonna print, publish. That's to really publish it for salesies. That's where it's gonna be at. And on Wattpad, we're gonna keep updating from Author's Forge back once we have assimilated the pre-existing content here, up to 100%, so that even though the books are up for sale somewhere else for money, unless Wattpad tells me otherwise, or the publisher or whatever platform I end up either self-publishing or agency publishing or guide publishing or systems publishing or community publishing, whatever it is, EPUB publishing, tells me that I can't. We'll then diversify what is and is not on which platforms when to maximize the appeal for free readers and free audience. The hope is that right now, as we amp up this pipeline, the penultimate, second to last, final stop for any given chapter that is achieved rough draft final, like working rough draft status, is Wattpad, because I want new eyeballs to see it. And I've noticed that when I was active and dabbling and writing and posting every other day or whatever, readership would fluctuate and ebb and flow. And we're just trying to... I realized I didn't have the full pipeline back to the back engine development part. I need a collaborative chorus of voices, and I need to delegate. I needed to delegate. And then be able to come back and act as like, managing editor, in order to achieve a fraction of the percentage of the ambitious number of titles that are living in lucid, vivid bundles of like looping animated info packets. So help me brain dump them out by being an alpha audience reader and participating in the process. That's also a process because, like everything is a working MacGuffin inside the book series also. This platform is referenced inside the pages. And like whenever the final draft really goes to get published, it's going to be different than whatever's here on Wattpad. And it's going to reference people going back here and go check this out. Go read the book, in that version of the book over there. And be sure to indulge in reading the community notes and in adding your layer of community notes or commentary. So I have crazy ideas of layered 3-part book series nested inside of each other, if that even makes sense. But I may not ever get to a point where it makes sense to others. But there it is. Okay, where were we? Clock, 1:23:20. Doing all right. I forgot. Oh, allow me to put my glasses on. Can you give me a little criticism? In 0 hour? Absolutely. Tell me you've been reading it. By all means. I literally am openly and with like bulletproof, ain't no skin off my teeth or nose or water off a duck's back or whatever the saying goes. You cannot hurt my feelings. You cannot hurt my intellect. I will either agree with your criticism or I will not. I will either find something interesting that will contribute to the evolution of the book, because it's nowhere near done. The Wattpad sample chapters are completed at this is a working rough draft. In like there are still pages to come, and then as new pages come, updates will ripple throughout the context of everything, etc. So, by all means, wait. The next message is a blocked message. Oh no, there you go. That wasn't you. Good. Why did I take my glasses off? Someone else is here that is sending a forbidden message, and has been denied. As a first-time viewer, the synopsis is confusing and a little hard to get into. That is valid. I appreciate that. And that might be very intentional. Like super intentional. And maybe I need to tone it down. But let me ask you this. hard to get into, but did it make you curious, or did it make you want to move on and be like, yuck? Like, and how strongly? I'm hoping that it's like, that was weird. What does that mean? How is that gonna work? Like, what am I getting myself into? What's about to happen? What's gonna go down next is what I'm shooting for. And thank you for the feedback, and congratulations, you are a historical first. Eclipse, clip this. You're the first actual human being to show up in the stream, engage, have mutual ambition stuff to, like actually talk about, and go out of your way to actually check out my book and read it and give me your immediate first impression critical response. Huzzah and thank you. Now I just need thousands of people just like you participating in the show, and we're gonna get somewhere with this crazy experimental. The audience is gonna be part of the book series. Is the format supposed to be like that? If you're talking about on Wattpad, and as long as it isn't just one big solid yucky block of text, probably yes. Now, the downside with Wattpad is that it's not particularly strong on the formatting. It has options, it's got its formatting tools, but it has a tendency to waffle and to not stick. Like, it does sometimes things that you go out of your way to try to effects or emphasis and bolding and highlighting and underlining or whatever, and then like you go back to visit it later and it's like, oh, that doesn't look right at all. Wattpad is really simple and streamlined, and I do intend to literally, and pardon my French, fuck with the photography and the typography and the way things look on the page. Literally. That's why I'm hoping, and I believe it might very well be, I'm hoping that this current tool, Author's Forge, might be the better one to start with, or to where the real final draft is going to be, where like now it's done. I've had someone else look at it, or whatever. I've had the AI review it and make suggestions, but not change anything or that kind of thing. I might pay for that when a particular title is complete, and then export it to the fancy EPUB editors where I can make like the text do weird things and the layout gets super visually specific because I want to do strange things with layout and formatting. But also, you might be asking me because it's a formatting fail. So 60-40, I'm not really sure. I'll tell you this: odds are more in favor of fail if you're looking at just a big lumpy clump with little formatting. But if you're looking at a weird format choice that has spacing and gaps and bullet point things and words spread out in weird ways, then absolutely yes. And one day there will be for ebook, like on EPUB marketplace, and for free in the library, and for cheap purchase, some through some distributor of EPUBs, I don't mean like a comic book, although I do want to dabble in that, like a webtoon. I mean have you ever heard of House of Leaves? Although it's not animated, it's printed print. I want to do like a weird moving text semi-animated version of the books. It'll be really weird. No LOL. Is the format supposed to be like that? No LOL? Okay. I need more specificity than that. Question mark. No LOL is to which of the many questions I've flung out over the last several minutes? The block of blob uniform text. Is that LOL no? Hopefully that means you are looking at some weird, interesting, artsy-fartsy layout, and then yes. No, you have not seen House of Leaves. That if you love literature and sci-fi and suspense and mystery and mindfuckery and the art of the printed page and the art of fontography and typography, then you need to go to the library first and check it out for free. House of Leaves. Be warned, it is a psychological anxiety thriller that fucks with your head. It is very similar. Some people are going to go, oh, it's the Backrooms before the Backrooms. And yeah, maybe I'm the first to say that. Clip that, Eclipse. House of Leaves, it is the Backrooms before the Backrooms existed. Maybe it is. Maybe it's part of the Backrooms and it's got something to do with it. I don't know. But it fucks with your head. Not just because it has a liminal space, impossible hallway full of rooms and hallways that shouldn't exist, but because the words on the page fuck with your brain and your eyes. Like the way the words are on the page and the font and the text and the layout change as you read the book, it penetrates your soul. That book and the words on the text and the way that shit was making me feel got into my dreams and nightmares like zero other books ever had. I can read anything and I will not dream about it. I can read Stephen King, Dean Koontz. I don't particularly ever care to, but I can, and I could vividly imagine the most graphic thing. I can watch scary movies and get startled and jump scared and creeped out and maybe have one little cringy moment in the shadowy hallway later on the way to bed, but free and clear in my dreams. That book, House of Leaves, fucked with my dreams in a way that wasn't too horrible and kind of scary and very reminiscent of Backrooms-like material. And clip that again, Eclipse, because that's a fun thing. I totally endorse it. Genuine, real. I should do a totally irrelevant media review episode about that book. And also, I should reread it. And I should put it in some new edition of my unauthorized and explicit readings. Or maybe offer to do No, I'll trash my voice reading that long of a book. It's an amazing book. You're missing out. Unless you can't deal with psychologically stressful horror. There's no monster. Is there monsters? There's the threat of there might be monsters throughout the book. But ultimately, the thing that's fucking with you is literally the printed page and the way it looks and the way it fucking changes in a weird, no, I don't know anyone that's ever done that before in a book that intensely. I've known poets. There's a poet guy that did weird things. Oh, there is one other novelist, like a literary, he wrote standard fiction novels, kind of realistic stuff about people in the real world. What is his name? He's one of my favorites. The guy who wrote Breakfast of Champions. That guy dabbles in some type font fuckery in his books, but not as intense as House of Leaves. And I don't know if there's any relationship there or acknowledge who someone inspired the other, but wow, yeah, for reals, genuine endorsement. Still gives me chills and is a actual inspiration for me. So if as you're reading any of my books, you see weird formatting choices, the only choice that is never a choice, that I didn't do it, that's some sort of editing fail or save fail, is if it's all just blah, impossible to read, lumped together blocks of text. Sometimes I let chunks of text be a little blocky, but no, if it's all, if like a chapter on Wattpad is ever just one big solid wall of text, something went wrong. Because everything I do has my typography has pacing. Let's put it that way. if I and or my character had existed in the invention of the moving typeface, Gutenberg Bible, experimental, bringing literacy and printed text and media to the world era, I would have been known as the mad scientist of. He invented his own freaking typeface machine so he can make weird, flowy poetry with letters flying off the page consistently and repeatably and blah 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 blah, artistically. Because I'm one of those guys. Well, there's plenty of authors that do it. Who wrote? Is it a guy with a girl's name or a girl with a guy's name? But who wrote the super famous from back in the day, kind of like young people, family-friendly book, Where the Sidewalk Ends. That's sort of almost more like illustrated storytelling. It's almost American manga, because it's very simple narrative, very simple doodly, squiggly line art, and then like lots of empty, clean space on the page. And I love that. I've got a couple of books in me that are like minimalist, weird art rendering books like that about lonely little robots lost in the void, which are not up or available yet in the sample pages. But yes, thank you for asking. And while, and you know what? Thank you for being brave, and I applaud you. Again, I say yes, you are not wrong. Your very first statement about the first view, the first impression, the synopsis is confusing and a little hard to get into. Now, if I had wanted it, if my goal had been for it to be really approachable, super easy to get, and like snappy and obvious and normal, I'd be concerned that you were saying that, and I'd be like, let me look into it. But let me tell you, that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted it to be jarring. I wanted readers to be, this is intentionally different. Something is afoot. Some kind of literary clusterfuckery is happening here. So, as long as you're sharing with me because you weren't sure what was going on and you wanted to be helpful in case I wasn't aware that it was coming off the wrong way, dive into it deeper and then come back and review, reconnect to the first impression, look at it, and then tell me, does it still not work? Or does it make more sense now and you're like, aha, okay, I get what you're doing. And if you got to be hard and be like, no, dude, no, this is an utter failure. The worse, it gets worse the further in I get. I'll accept it as a tough bullet straight into the back of my spine. But also, my vision for that book and all the others, well, that one in particular is the strongest. My vision for the universe that we're dealing with is really weird and quirky and surreal and bizarre and intense and a patchwork of many genres mashed together. I am remembering that I did not eat my last break, and that I maybe shoulda, coulda, woulda, might have, shoulda eaten something, and now I'm feeling that whimsical, oh, am I gonna faint on my own live stream show and like damage my microphone and bash my face into the computer screen, or am I gonna go eat something first? But I've enjoyed. Oh, let me ask you this: if you take care of yourself, bro, and eat. Yes. Let me ask you though, Enzo423, is that a sly reference to 420, but just like 3 digits later, or totally random and unrelated? And also, Enzo0423, another question: do you live stream here on this platform? Yes or no? Are you live streaming your experimental dabbling in writing your fan fiction what if series that are ongoing? And thanks again. because actually telling me, I'll be honest with you. Hold on as I fight this hiccup burp. Traffic jam in my throat. My thorax. Okay, so I had spent a little bit of time earlier reviewing for context for anyone who might watch this after the fact. I want even my long form videos to feel like something that one might get sucked into and follow along after the fact, even if there isn't a lot of chat going on. And hello, Spicy. No, that's what she said. Sorry. Spicy Sin Pie. First time chatter. In regards to what? What did I say that's what she said kind of statement? I missed it, and I normally have that's what she said. No, actually, I guess I've been trying to tune it out ever since the change of the atmosphere in regards to that kind of sense of humor. Traffic jam in my throat. Oh, yeah. I simultaneously respect the we should be less sexist in our society. Okay, I've always been sort of hey, the anti-sexist, the really bad sexist, but also I like a little salty humor. I like a little naughty humor, and I have always been encouraged by those who know what I'm capable of through direct experience. I've always been encouraged to actually downright just full-on write erotica, which we may, during the course of the following year, adventure into, slowly but surely. But first, and thank you for joining us, Spicy Senpai. I hope I didn't pronounce that. That was it. I never thought of it as a innuendo because, although of course it totally is, because it frustrates the fuck out of me. I do not know why. But when I'm live streaming, and never in any other circumstance that I've ever encountered before, but when I'm live streaming, and especially sometimes right when I'm in the middle of getting onto a good roll with something, or it's a good flow, I will suddenly get the urge and the muscular tension build of a hiccup building, or maybe sometimes it starts with a burp. But then it feels like both are trying to happen at the same time. And then sometimes it's a burp and a hiccup and a cough. And sometimes there's also a sneeze in there. And it's insane. And it sometimes hurts. You call it a hibuckburk. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm not alone in that. Awesome. What I think is weird is that it only ever happens when I'm in front of a camera. It used to happen to me when I was trying to take acting for television camera. And I had to drop out because my eyes would water and go cross-eyed. I cannot. This is why I never auditioned for film, even though people tell me I'm a pretty darn decent actor. That's because the larger the camera lens, the crazier the weird cumulative sensory overload. I don't know what the fuck it is. ADHD fucking allergic reaction that I have. And ever since I started live streaming, it happens less often when I'm gaming, but it happens a lot when I'm talking and when I start to get excited about explaining something. All right. That's a good word for it. I am absolutely going to copy paste that into my archive of clever things, which of course has no rhyme or reason to it. What else do they've got here? Do you get anxiety from being live? Anxiety? I don't think so, although maybe I'm refusing to appropriately. You know what I get anxiety about? The executive dysfunction disorder, collapse of my ability to work through a decision tree when I sit down to get ready to launch a live stream. I have utterly failed to launch on more days and just didn't do a live stream because I failed to be able to run through my pre-show checklist of like, do I know what I want to do? Is it going to be about the literary world building project? Is it going to be gaming? Is it going to be one of my podcast segments that I'm trying to migrate over to live stream from where I used to produce it originally? Is it going to be just a chill hangout? Or is it going to be a rant about something that just happened in the world? And blah, 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 and set up the thing. And I'll just lock up. And there I'll go through some anxiety. Once I'm live, and especially if I'm finding a flow, no. Because I spent 35 years, almost 40 years, studying, training in, and or working in the live theater, the professional live theater entertainment industry as a technician, as a performer, and as a designer, collaborator, blah blah blah. So, no, goofing off, fooling around, and doing it with an objective, none of performative, does not give me anxiety. Cameras fuck with my brain in a physical, literal sense. Okay, what was the next thing he said? I was told that when your heart rate goes up or you're nervous, you're stuck in breath differently. Yes, that's very true. That's something that I studied and learned about and learned to work with in an intuitive fashion. Your breath, your emotions impact your breath, and your breath impacts your emotion. They are intrinsically almost like an inverse relationship, like bound to each other. That's why in movies and in real life, you'll and someone's freaking out, people be like, breathe, bro, just breathe. But that's like the dumbest way to do it. The smartest way to do it is to like if someone is having a breakdown, it's not a breakdown, but if someone's like starting to lose their breath and starting to get anxious and starting to feel that weird blah, 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 and thinking they're gonna spiral out of control and lose their breath, and you are in a calm, reasonable place and you want to help, don't get anxious too. Don't get high volume. Don't just step into their line of sight, lock eyes with them, and breathe. And don't try to direct their breathing. Just breathe. Start from wherever your natural tone of breath is, and then guide it towards slowness. They will magically, without being told, synchronize to your breath, and then you'll both synchronize together. Human beings, bodies, neurobiological feedback loop systems already do that. And that is the cure for anxiety. If you're by yourself, you can just remember that the breath is that system's regulatory and release valve, and just turn your internal vision, your internal awareness inwards to your breathing, and don't try to fight it. Don't try to clamp down on it. Just let it, just ease into letting it happen, and letting it happen slower and slower and deeper, and boop. Next thing you know, all that weird energy and mental disruption vibe is gone. And now, if you were listening along and you thought maybe what I was describing about the camera and the hiccup burps is that, I don't think so. Not for me. And when I am having the anxiety about like I can't launch the show, and that's been happening to me a lot. So much so that I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. And I was like, I took some days off and officially was on hiatus to just like not think about any of this stuff for a minute. But I'm back and I'm feeling much better about it. No, I'm really comfortable. I'm theoretically really comfortable in front of a camera. What happens is there's something psychophysiological about lensing, and the bigger the lens, the deeper the impossibly dark pit is that I can see behind it, the weirder my neurophysiology reacts to it. And I think that it's a real thing, and I think that is why indigenous people sometimes feel like they say that they feel like the camera is stealing their soul, and that's why some people cringe and freak out and feel like they're awkward and can never properly pose in front of a camera. And I know that my entire life in a camera, indoors, outdoors, facing the sun, not facing the sun, my eyeballs always water up and get screwy when someone's like trying to, take the picture, and they're like, get together a little more closer, and they're like, it's like, take the picture or else my eyes are going to stop working and I got to close them. And they almost always shudder and hit the button right when my eyes go, Meh. And it's not that I'm looking at the sun. I can hike forever and never have my eyes go, I can't. There's something weird about fucking cameras in my eyes, and I also get weirdly itchy and cringy, like especially over time. And I know that this effect scales with the size of the camera, and I just know it from real life experience, repeated throughout my life. Anytime I've been in front of a camera, either a still photograph camera or a video camera, the bigger the lens, the bigger that weird multi-tiered lens, like black hole pit inside the lens is, and the closer to my face, and the longer I'm posing or acting or whatever in front of it, the worse. And it feels like there's something wrong with the magnetic energies around me, and that's making my nose and my eyes and my throat and my muscles act funny in a weird, glitchy, now I can't talk and perform. And 35 years of studying and rehearsing and performing on stage, and backstage work is about performance, because you got to do it with the same diligence, the same focus, the same silence, the same you got to be connected to everybody else on stage so that you're working as one team, one body. And never happened to me, that phenomena, the eyes watering, the weird extra itchy, the twitchiness, like never, ever, ever, ever. 30 some odd years. I want to say 35 to sound impressive. I actually want to say 40 years, because I did start early in my youth, studying and dabbling in it out in the world. But let's say sound modest, and let's not make myself sound older than I actually am. 35 years of studying, training, performing live in front of a real audience, in front of dozens and hundreds and thousands of people. And I've never felt anxiety. I've never felt the widgets, what are some of the common names people use? I've never gotten the willies. I've never got, what's the one that gymnasts say? Anyways, I have always felt comfortable. I've always felt at home, and I've always felt grounded, and I've always felt like theater practice, storytelling, sharing space with other performers is Zen like Zen altered state of mind inducive, and that there's some sort of audience performers brain magic that happens, and I miss that. That's the best thing about theater, is live in front of a real theatrical audience. That we're talking at least multiple dozens, on the small side, and hundreds and hundreds on the medium size side, and like thousands on the large size. There's a magic to when that many people are quietly lost in their own engaged imagination watching you perform. And whatever that is, that feels like home. And I miss it. Clip that, Eclipse, because that's all material that should go into the theater nerd stories. But that's all really, really real and really heartfelt. No, but my situation right now is I'm feeling faint and woozy and weird because I have not eaten anything all day. And it is effectively 3 p.m. in the afternoon for me. And I've been up since whatever the fuck, 8 in the morning, which was actually the afternoon because I'm upside down time right now. But so yeah, thank you Spicy Senpai for dropping in and getting chatty. Thank you again Enzo423 for dropping by and getting chatty. We got derailed, but it's okay. Oh, I've been sitting here rambling on Infinity Desktop Portal. I'm not showing you anything of interest. That was dumb. I wish I had my number one superpower is the superpower at the center of the Zeppoverse, and that's the ability to instantly manifest from the ether another semi-autonomous but also hive mind connected iteration, very similar but also kind of uniquely themselves version of me that is down to collaborate, because I need someone to stage manage the fucking show so I can just not stare at the camera and act and play around the camera and let my mind do the things, and they can be like, take us to the portal, take us to back to main camp, and then they'll figure out the flow, and they know me anyways because they are me, and they'll be like, oh, I know what he wants right now, because when I try to do both by myself, I fuck it up. Okay, where were we? That's the backside of Twitch. There's my book series, friends. Here is the currently public-facing, completely free if you've got Wattpad. Some people find signing up for Wattpad daunting, but I think it's a great little platform. Genuine, authentic endorsement. It's a great place to find undiscovered authors. And if you want a simple, low format, because it doesn't have the robust tools I would like to have. The weirdness you maybe found, Enzo, is not enough weirdness from what I'm going to do once we get really going. But these sample chapters gives you a pretty interesting taste. And it's complicated, and it's bizarre, and it's scatterbrained, and it's very, 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 very incomplete. This is not finished drafts. This is ongoing, like whatever you said, Enzo. None of these are complete, except I think the book of poetry is marked complete. But I do want to do more experimental poetry. But we gotta make that a volume 1, 2, and 3 book. I gotta see how to split that poetry up if there's too many in that one book, and or write a bunch more to have volumes 1, 2, and 3. What do we got? What do we got in the chat? Hey dude, how am I doing? What's up? Simru Valkija. I'm alright. I'm winding down because I need to eat food. I have not eaten a single thing all day. Part of me wants to sort of just leave the live stream going and then just hustle downstairs and like shove something in my face and then come on back. Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that. Fuck it. Maybe I'll eat on stream. What do you guys think? I got 4 viewers for the first time in this new rebooted experience of the show. A lot of streamers eat on stream, dude. I did not know that. Thank you, Enzo. And welcome in, Simru. Take your bio break on stream. Nothing wrong with that. Just leave the stream running, right? I got some original to my literary fictional alternate robot universe, Robot Discotheque Synthetica Robot Rock Muzak to entertain you guys while I run away and stuff my face with something to eat. And we'll come back. You know what? Yeah. You know what? Yes, you're right. I'll just eat on the stream. It's easier. And it'll build the momentum. And then I won't have to start over. Maybe that's the way I've been doing it wrong. I have been doing weird, small, short run, episodic live streams. And never just... And often... Too often, just when people are starting to actually show up, am I like, well, I said a bunch of things, and it's there on the video on demand shelf or the YouTube archive, and it does work as a standalone sort of like you can go watch it now, and then I'm like, I'm hungry, I should go eat, and then I take a break, eat, and then take a nap, and never come back, and then never really build the momentum. It's like watching mukbang. Yeah, I didn't used to know what that meant And that word looks and sounds way worse than what it actually means. But yeah, I'm not interested in watching other people eat. I'm not interested in being watched while eating. But you guys are right. I should not truncate the stream. What I should do is throw out a few questions and get you guys all chatting with each other. There's apparently 4 people. First of all, don't be shy. Everyone drop a wavy hand emoji, because we're all taking a moment to acknowledge each other as fellow human beings here on this earth that our fellow humanity and the rest of the species has lit on fire. So hello. If you're here and you're enjoying and you're sticking around, even though I am about to put on some music, I'm going to crank up the music and go grab a bite to eat, and I'll bring it back up here, so I'll just eat it. Everybody wave at each other. Say hi. Who else is a writer? Drop a book emoji after your wave emoji. And who else is like a science fiction enthusiast? Drop a robot or a spaceship or something that's up that alley. Do that sort of thing as I step away. I know what I'm going to eat because I can make it super fast. And it's super healthy and full of protein. The slowest part is getting it ready to be cooked. And I'm not going to talk about it because I'm just going to pretend it's not happening. And I'm going to take a moment to very deeply, very genuinely, very humbly thank you all for being here. We've hit a weird magical milestone right now, friends. And also, I'm really amped up. I'm proud of the weird, wacky, kooky weirdness that what this is. But this is really sort of like a vision board. It's in vision board, in progress, in development mode. But the other thing I'm super excited about is actually drilling down and getting into actually developing the ideas that I know where I want to go with into a more specific, more grounded, more ready to be considered a book kind of finalized place. What did I click this open to open up? I forgot. What was I Oh, yeah. Because we need to reconnect with the lesson plan. I'm working through this like tutorial that like is also a story prompt, like a step by step. You're gonna have a finished story, and you're gonna have learned how this platform works. Which is this platform, Author's Forge. I don't know. I have 2 pairs of glasses. One's for little screens up close, and another for, here we go, free course. So I'm actually super excited about this. We've already kind of started, but we're ready to pick up with Shape It, the next lesson, which invokes the first tool here, and which we're going to be learning how to use. That's like, I don't really know what this is about, how it works. And there's also the other tool, Story DNA, that I'm interested in taking a stab at, because this one looks wild. And it also has a free forever mode. So I want to generate right now, while we're in the full trial mode, to decide if this is one of the things that's worth maybe scrounging together enough money to fucking pay for it. If not forever, maybe intermittently, maybe every once in a while. So we're going to tinker with that today. And then once we get something that's starting to take shape, we will... Did I already have this opened up? We'll bring it back over here and start plugging it in and experimenting with this as we learn more about how its plot builder or developer or outliner. In this one, it says like outlining tool that works, that does certain things. So we'll see how crazy chaotic this this next little work session gets. But so far, I'm pretty excited. All right, what do we got here? How's everyone's day going? You love the script, like theatrical vibes of 0 Hour. Also, you're alright, how about you? Also, thank you, Enzo. You like the script, like theatrical vibes of 0 Hour. Yes, it does. That's another one of the things I'm toying with. As you heard my rant about, I want to fuck with people's perception using typography. I want to write a novel that reads like a movie script some of the time, right? But then also falls into feeling like a play some of the other time, but then reverts back to like rich, deep narrative, old school, old timey, like blocks of text that make you forget that the world is in front of you because you just start seeing the image being built for you. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely, if I ever get enough of these written and done, despite the fact that I probably will be guilty of using one or more AI tools, no one will be able to accuse me credibly and seriously of just churning out AI slop, because it'll be too weird and too very much my own. Also, I want to use the AI tools for them to cosplay as characters, right? As my collaborators. So that's going to get fictionalized and be part of the novelization in a weird way. Hopefully it works. And yeah, my aesthetic for the way I think my literary work, should I ever achieve enough completion and enough audience awareness, will be known for having its own unique visual style in print, in the classical traditional, like they published a printed book, but also in the accompanying EPUB book. I want to be known as like a unique, quirky EPUB writer that publishes weird, quirky, interesting books that aren't quite comic books, aren't quite manga, aren't quite an animated episode, but have strange things going on in between. Maybe that's not really groundbreaking anymore, because I realize there's a lot of that, because that's kind of what the slop all turned in. That's what the AI slop sort of latched onto, is like partially not quite animated storytelling apps of weird, rushed storytelling. I don't know. The vision will get clearer. But yes, I do primarily want to write like in print, on paper, that you would go buy at a bookstore. What else is new here? Simru Valkidra. Sorry, I have no idea how I'm supposed to pronounce that one. So I'm just going to call you Sim. C-Y-M. You are as good as you can be waiting for a phone call from the doctor. Well, I wish you the best with that. You also add, currently watching this stream and listening to your 3-year-old sing along to the musical Cats. That must be either an absolute joy or a bit of a torture. I don't know which, but But as a theater guy, you better bet that I appreciate it in a deeper, more... I've heard me some Cats. I know me some Cats deep down inside. And maybe not necessarily because I was a fan. You know what I mean? Just a member of the theater nerd community. Okay, my brain is reminding me that I was getting lightheaded for food. I will thank you so much, guys, for being here. Keep chatting amongst yourselves. If Enzo, since you're the one that's actually gone over there and been the first in all of my live stream history to actually do me the delightful honor and service, it's a joy. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Rock on. Rock on. I'm so glad to hear that. But Enzo, you're actually over there kind of checking out my flagship book, 0 Hour. Please know that is supposed to be a 3-part series, and we've already done a little bit of work in the new, as you can see right here, this is it. This is the scaffolding of what's going to become the infrastructure and the place where I will finalize the official. This is the new official home of what's going to be the final draft, from which I will hit publish to either to self-publish or to publish through an agency, and we're going to have like a whole workflow, ebb and flow omnibus loop of like making sure that this is the final authoritative version, and going back to Wattpad to make sure that that version is up to date and is based on this version here as close as possible. It won't look the same because some of the formatting things that I know that I'm going to be able to do here are not going to translate. They won't be carried over into Wattpad. But in terms of words and chapters and characters and events and things that happen, the goal is to establish a week-to-week workflow of like, here's a new chapter, and boom, hooray, we've put it here in Author's Forge. That means it is now the working draft that, of course, someday will become the final draft with hopefully minimal overhauling, and then carrying it over to publishing it, sharing it over on Wattpad so that plenty of other people can see it and read it and share it, and checking in on the audience feedback. Speaking of which, Enzo, if you're there on Wattpad and you've got a profile and you're going to be a member of that community, by all means, get busy dropping comments over there too as well, please and thank you. Okay, I had to brain dump all that. I will be right back. I'm gonna leave you with. Do I have a slideshow? We used to have a slideshow. Oh no, that was over there on the other one. I'm just gonna leave you here with a little itty bitty break and some music. And should I add? Oh yeah, I can make a slideshow happen. I'm gonna add the iPad Pro up in there. Whoa, too big. Big, buddy. Make a nice, respectful, miniature size. And we're going to put that on top. Hold on. Sorry. Welcome to a little bit of the behind-the-scenes look at the busy work involved in making your live stream show look awesome. This is for video game stuff, but oh well, I need to update that and or replace this graphic system for this page. Go up here. And now take this. Okay. Now, we know what I keep forgetting to do is actually organize and create a brand new, awesome, super mega folder of slideshow randomness. And now I don't know what cool thing to leave it. It's got a lot of pictures. Trophy win archives is boring. No, the video game one stuff is boring. Zeppoverse character design has hardly anything in it. Where, oh, where? I've got a few sort of non-art photos mixed in here that are just like friends, acquaintances, and or potential models. But I used to have a fucking folder. What? This is supposed to be a giant, super mega collection, and it's got like 24 things. There, we'll just go super mega library. Slideshow. Hopefully there isn't anything in there that is inappropriate to share on the interwebs. I don't think there is. I don't think I've ever put... Oh, that was a one image slideshow. What the F? All photos. There are a bunch of random things, and some of them are like memes that I screenshot off the internet. But wait, can I select all? No. Oh, look at that. I flipped it over to the other side. Does this or does this not conduct a slideshow out of everybody with all of it? There we go. Come on. Tell me you will randomize and slideshow all kinds of random shit from all over the massive collection. I know I'm totally lagging and dragging ass getting out of here, but there we go. Okay, some of that is like original digital art. Some of it is little photography. There might be a few social media pictures. I do not think there is any like NSA adult things. There might be a few random memes that might be in poor taste. But I'll be right back as quickly as possible. And hopefully, statistically, with any luck, you'll only see really cool shit. But, yeah. Please stand by. Or actually, wait a minute. No. And maybe I'll change this later. I'll update this. That's Variety Gaming. Where's the newest one of this? Also, what the F folder is this? Library. Get the fuck out of there. Let's hide that for now. Alright, I'm satisfied with that. Sorry, that took forever. That took way longer than necessary. But now, I shall bid you patience. I shall return promptly. Please enjoy the random carousel of mostly original art and random occasional memes and or photos of strangers that I didn't mean to allow into the carousel, but here you go. And yes, I assure you, a lot of, well, okay, anyways, I'm going to shut up now. I'll be right back. I'm going to go eat before my brain shuts down.
All right, friends. I'm kind of almost back. There you go. There's some original art. I'm a terrible artist, but I try. Okay, I haven't eaten anything yet, but I made the food. I had to like find a clean dish and that was pretty quick. But I still got to eat it. So, but I'll just stay off camera and try not to chew into the microphone. But I will say hello. We're almost back. We have returned. Oh, you know what? I could have left it like this, like full screen slideshow. That might have been fun. We'll put it here for a second. We'll let the slideshow run for a bit more. And once again, the music you're hearing in the background is literary, fictional, original discotheque synthetica robot rock music created by me, myself, and I, and our imaginary best friend, DJ Zed. Rock on. Many thanks. Thanks for still being here. I appreciate that. Oh, I see that Enzo had to go. His mom was calling them and at 1%. Thanks for dropping by, Enzo. And yeah, if you're going to come by again, I guess I'll see you again tomorrow. Good times. And cheers to you. I too am eating, although I guess it is sort of like my lunch. I forgot I never finished that project. I was gonna like do more to that and actually make it like a full colorful painting. Oh well. The moment kind of flew past us. Okay, I'm almost about to finish biting. I'm about to finish eating, and then I'll probably get into something or another. I already kind of forgot what I was even doing. I hope that the food intake doesn't suddenly make my brain tank. right, folks, thank you for your patience. If you're still there, it's deeply appreciated. I am moments away from returning, and then we're going to actually get into doing some creativity and stuff. Or just ramble and babble about things. Who knows? We'll see. One more moment, please. Just a bit. That's groovy. Thank you so much for still being here. Hope you're enjoying lunch. Okay. We are returning from our break. Let me just make a couple of last little minute adjustments. Get settled into my chair. Get my old wrinkly asshole up in here. Oh, those are some early dabblings and stuff. Okay. DJ said you're way too loud. Turn it down, buddy. Turn it down. Okay, so some of this stuff right here is actually original art from when I first got my iPad and started dabbling. Here's me dabbling with there's a composite painting that I made. There's a little painting signature I was gonna start using on my paintings and then never did. But that's not what we're here for. Oh, it's another fun little dabbly bits. I've got some random shit in here. I really needed to just purge all of this stuff out and start fresh because all my devices are running out of room. Good times. Okay. Ciao for now. Photo thingamabob. Hello. Oh, you've got a big old long text there. Let's see what you got to say. I hope the balance on the voice and the music is not is okay. Sorry. Since I last watched your stream, fully got into your second playthrough of Crimson Desert. Oh, rock on! Congratulations. I kind of stalled out. I got to a pretty epic place, but I still hadn't started that crazy big giant war part. I'm still in the middle of chapter 5, I think. I really maxed that game out for a hot minute and then put it down and stop playing. I can't believe that I do that. So congratulations on starting your second playthrough. You got all the 3 legendary horses, got all the way to the same chapter you were on, which was 10, 11, 12. Didn't mess with the fruit of life. I don't even know what that is. Until you needed to. Also dealt with all the legendary beasts and still got to the Phoenix. Also found some interesting places. Well, congratulations. I am respectfully, in a fun, supportive way, a little jealous. Because I have not done any of those things. I miss Crimson Desert. But I also suddenly just stopped. I was waking up every day with the burning desire. I need to play more. And then it just let go of me. Right now I have a mild, not quite raging burning desire to play the new Black Flag, partially because I decided to pony up the money to get the subscription pass to get access to it and other Assassin's Creed games that I've started but never really got very far into. So I owe myself a healthy amount of time in Black Flag and some of the other Assassin's Creed games. So there's that to look forward to. If you're a gaming enthusiast, come on by and spend some time while we're in here playing any of that stuff live, or stay tuned for the Magic Movie Loops and support me that way. Cool. All right. So, but today, yeah. So congratulations, by the way. Yeah. No, serious. That's awesome. And I'm sorry I didn't remember that you were a fellow Crimson Desert player. But yeah, like as I was saying, I kind of just fell off a cliff. I took a whole, I didn't even measure how long, but several days hiatus. That'd have been a couple of weeks from streaming entirely. Now I'm just barely bootstrapping myself back into it. Mostly because it's a sunk cost fallacy commitment. I'm here to try to get discovered and or accomplish my goal of cultivating some kind of like development baseline alpha audience as I struggle bust my way through trying to make my dream come true of actually becoming a published writer. So huzzah! The two things are very time consuming. Playing through one game is time consuming. Playing through an entire franchise collection is overwhelmingly time consuming. Playing through multiple video game franchise collections that I missed out on over the last 25 years and now finally have the time to try to overcompensate is overwhelming. And so is trying to write a multi book crazy adventure story thing that I've been dragging my feet on to begin with, and now it's just like, oh, it's too much to do. Never enough time to do it all in. It's all good, dude. Okay, rock on. I'm glad to hear that. It's always good to be good. All right, what are we doing? What am I doing? I want a sip of water. I scarfed down some quick, easy make eggy breakfast business. Homemade though, not some factory bought egg. Well, I didn't make the egg myself. But what are we actually doing? I set up too many things and now I don't know where to start. Oh, I didn't push this to the desktop. Let's go through the Infinity desktop portal of infinities. Although we got to keep it in performance mode to save on performance time. So we were talking about these book series. It's an overly ambitious project that's got way too many projects in it. And I don't know if I'll ever get around to wrapping my brain around any one of them. But my goal is to try and focus, after we lay down some other boring, tedious groundwork stuff, and zero in on like a workflow of which these different apps we're really going to use and which ones we're not really going to use. I'm going to zero in on, pun intended, 0 hour, which right now I'm struggling. Like I want to call it something else. 0 hour something. And then volumes 1, 2, and 3. Zero hour canon? No. I don't know. But okay, so I'm unclear as to what's supposed to happen here in this next part. We wrote down that premise sentence. I did a bunch of other extra unnecessary busy work around the premise sentence. The premise sentence that I chose to zero in on, now that's always going to be a weird pun, it's unintentional, was one about this thing. Pearl Abyss have allowed us to have up to 55 pets instead of the baseline 30. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that exciting bit of Crimson Desert news. There you go. That's how behind schedule or out of date. I was trying to keep up with all the big updates and make a big deal about like, hey, look at me, I'm reading the updates to you. But no one was watching. So I stopped doing it. Now I haven't done it in a while. But that's exciting news. All right. Not to force the conversation away from Crimson Desert, please feel free to drop Crimson Desert commentary. But this is a Zeppoverse literary world building episode, and I need to smoke a little weed and listen to my robot guy talk about the next lesson in this lesson plan for this platform that I want to use, because I think it has the right tool set for what I want to use it for. Okay, anyways, so here comes the next lesson plan. Robot voice from my desktop. Please take it away.
Module 1. Plan your story, shape it objective. You'll have a working plan for your story, a structure and plan, backed by a filled template. Lesson: this is what the plan feature is for. Open plan by right-clicking the plan element in the left-hand navigation and creating a new plan from the menu. Name this plan to correspond with your book title. When a new plan is created, you'll find two halves of one job: the structure you assign them to, acts, chapters, and scenes, and the elements, the characters, settings, plot threads, and themes your story is made of. You'll create elements over the next 2 lessons. Today, rough in the structure, short story path. In plan, keep it small, 1 act, 1 to 3 scenes. Then use the short story planner to decide what goes in them. Your single effect, the one feeling to leave the reader with, your one main character, and one clear conflict. Resist planning a saga. One clear conflict, told well. It can be helpful to use notes as a free-form white space to refine and brainstorm. Once you are clearer on the direction, you can return to your plan and fill out the acts, chapters, and scenes. Novel path. Brainstorm before you build. Start with the novel outline template in a note. Use it to brainstorm your 3-act structure. Setup. Things get worse. Resolution. And let it be messy. That's what the note is for. Once the shape is clearer, return to plan and populate it. Build your 3 acts and assign your elements. If your story has a spine you can name. Create a plot thread element for it too. Its setup, complications, and resolution fields map straight onto your 3 acts. You don't need every chapter yet. You need a map you can follow. To use your template, create a new note on your bookshelf and paste your chosen template into it. Soon you'll be able to pick it straight from the new note menu as a template preset. For now, paste works the same way. Fill the starred essentials and stop. A plan you finish beats a plan you abandon.
Okay, so we are at a bit of a fork in the road. So it's instructing us to choose to either do a short story path, which is to plan and draft out and work on the elements of a short story, which is a good idea. But then I don't know what book to put it in. Because what I've built is a roadmap for 3 books that are longer than a short story. What I could, I guess, do is create the short story planner. Where is that? Is that a linkable thing? Short story planner. Single effect, the one feeling you read or event. Main character, who they are and what they want, in 2 lines. The conflict, 1 clear conflict, no subplots. Scenes, 1 to 3 scenes, 1 line each. The turn, the moment when the story pivots. The ending, how the single effect lands. Okay. There's instructions there for if you're going to work with the Pro AI. We're not going to do that because although we did the survey and got some free shekels, we're not going to use any of those right now. Okay, so we're supposed to copy this as a clipboard into your bookshelf and paste your chosen template into it. Soon we'll just open it as a template thing. Okay. Now, I don't know what... Now, it says to put it in notes, right? Does it say to put it in notes? Oh, I guess we technically could put it in chapters to resolve the weird fake fork in the road.
we can put it in a new note. And we're going to call it the short story planner. All right, and then we're going to paste the thing. All right. So that's all that created, the whatever hashtaggy bits are going on was just to make it like a heading and a thing. And then the rest of this is just me working this out. Now, what I'm unclear about is what the plan feature does. Open plan by right-clicking the plan element in the left-hand navigation and creating a new plan from the menu. In plan, keep it small. Okay. So here it's saying notes, but that's different than the plan. I don't know what two halves of one job means. This part is not clear to me, but okay, let's go to plan. Plans. Aha, new plan. Untitled plan. Okay. Act, chapter, scene, character, scene, empty plan. Alright, so well, first of all, I gotta go into the actual file directory and move this created file over to the repository of templates so that I can preserve the template. The way notes I think are supposed to work is once you get into this part of the thing, you actually start editing the notes so that you have them there as a reference. They're no longer just gonna sit there and be templates. I think what they're working on is probably doing an update where there is a template folder which can be accessed from anywhere in the menu in this create a new thing menu. But they haven't deployed it yet. Okay, so but this plan is here for it's not inside the book or the series, which is what I don't get. That's throwing me off. If it's a plan, what is it a plan for? Why is it way out here outside of the book series? Why isn't it in the book series? Okay. I'm also still reeling from the 55 pets. That's a lot of pets, man. Once you're clear on the direction, you can return to your plan and fill out the acts, chapters, and scenes. Okay, but where? Oh, I see. Elements, 0. This is my plan. Untitled plan. I can add an act. I can add a chapter. I can add a scene. Character, setting, theme, plot thread, And a new note. I'm not going to make a note, but... Elements, characters, one, settings, themes, plot threads. And we have act title, act description, act photo, chapter title, act description, act photo, and then scene title. Oh, that's 2 scenes. Okay. So I'm having fun just poking around. How do I actually apply this tool to what it wants me to do? I have a premise statement. The writer must write... I have the really, really simple one and then the more complicated one. The writer must write the next paragraph or the next chapter before the timer runs out or else the world will end. So I guess in the note, we work with the headline, the simple, like, here's a headline prompt, write a few sentences. Then we come back over here, and having worked that out, we start trying to populate this information. Now, I don't know how we connect a plan to a particular book, so that doesn't make any sense, but maybe they'll eventually teach us about that. Alright. Well, I picked a really nebulous short story idea that I already asked ChatGPT to expand on and do a thing, but I haven't read those yet. I want those to sit there and I want to forget what they were, that I even asked it. So we're going to come back here. Alright, so we've got the series core premise. And we've written it down. That's there. It's there for us to remember. Apparently, the AI has access to it when we activate that. Here's a short story planner. Single effect. Alright. What is the one single effect the reader should be left with this story, which starts with the writer must write the next chapter of his book or the world will end. What is the single effect? I'm not sure. This is a tough one. And my brain is like... Although eating was supposed to make me feel better, I'm definitely feeling like maybe I've overextended myself and I should have just wound down this stream and called it an evening and relaxed and unwound. I actually did do a lot of creative work, more than I've done in months, dare I say even years. And while it doesn't feel like we've amounted to much in this one session, we actually have spoken a lot of interesting things that hopefully will get captured and scooped up in magic movie loop making, and written down a lot of key things that will percolate and sprout and grow and become other things. Right now I'm kind of feeling like I'm run out of steam. Main character. Now, this isn't a text box entry thing like this other thing is, but the planner is, which is what I was wondering about. Like, where are the text boxes? Where's the inputs? Here they are.
He just made them really interestingly weird and subtle. And you can add multiples of them. Ooh, you can link to things, move to things, duplicate. I'm going to delete this scene because I don't want to be too overwhelmed. Yeah. Now, one shortcut we could do is instead of trying to answer these raw with original content. Now, right now I'm probably faltering just because I'm tired and I've eaten and my blood sugar is all different now and I'm tired. And so although I technically should go further, I probably should have switched to gaming at this point instead of creative mental work. Okay, I've got two options, and I'm just going to ramble about them to see what interesting things fall out of my mouth. One is I could work through an iteration of this entirely on my own. But the other is I can go see what ChatGPT came up with when I dropped it just that simple and that complex prompt, review that, pull it, save it, set it aside somewhere, and pull from it for anything applicable here, and edit and add and embellish and twist and turn around and write, use it as like a stepping stone to write even more and fill out this whole situation. I'm tempted to do that as like the hybrid. But it does seem like one of the things I was wondering was, will I be able to say, let's say I've got an idea and we're working with this foundational groundwork. We've got the book and the thing and we're ready to make a plan. I can like open up these pages and then be like, oh, okay. And then go ask one of the AIs to like give me something to fill these text boxes with if I wanted to. And and merge it with whatever I'm writing. Like go there and be like, make this a little better. We're gonna put this in a thing. And vice versa. We could probably work some of this early planning stuff here and then go take whatever that text is that results and be like, here, analyze this and what would you do with it? Like expand on it. Give me more. So it's going to be interesting back and forth sort of ebb and flow kind of workflow. But yeah, I am starting to feel like maybe I'm a little on the... My brain is a bit too burnt out and short-circuited to actually tackle more real writing. Alright, so we're still on this same lesson, but we made a little progress. We put this into a scene, into a note. Populated by the reacts. Hot red element. So, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to doing the workshop, like workshopping both of these things. The novel outline. Now, where's the novel outline template? Do I have that? Character conflict, novel outline template. Genre, target, word count, logline, boom, premise. Here's our 3-act structure. So we just start answering these questions. But these aren't text boxes. This is just basic text. It's a bummer that it's not a text box, so that it can then be reorganized and represented somewhere else as an output. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's quite a complex outline guide. I don't know how the tracker is supposed to work. I just see like hashtag phrases with percentage markers. Instead of actually giving us functional scenes to build scene cards with, it just gives us like a list of things that should be on a scene card. Okay. I haven't actually clicked through these, so that's what we're going to wrap up with. We're just going to click through all these template notes, see what's what. Names, nicknames. Okay, so this is standard stuff. It goes into a character breakdown sheet. And this sounds easy, but it's tough work because you often don't know the answers to these questions. You just don't have it in your head. You gotta sit there and like imagine things and come up with ways to make yourself think of them to have them on there. Okay, so that was pretty robust and thorough. So is the novel outline. We built the series core premise. World building. Time period era, tone, a 1 sentence description. It's funny because some people find this part, the daunting part, like, oh my god, this is too much stuff. I can't answer all these questions. Like, then what are you gonna write if you don't know this? You gotta make this stuff up. Okay. The series Bible template. Again, these ones in particular, it's strange to me that it's just a Word doc with Markdown. But these template-y things I thought would be kind of like text input, like functional, so that you could then have it generate reports based on this. And maybe it knows how to strip out all of the language it already had there and you just type next to it. I don't know. Okay, that was pretty interesting. I have all these open. It is kind of cool that there is that like side-by-side tab navigation, which I'm not used to in a word processing environment. So that we can look at side-by-side of like two specific things and just flip back and forth and connect them. Which I guess is a way of compensating for not having it actually ingest the text. What else did I want to do? Plans, I'm still sort of not super clear on how this is going to work, but this is more like, I think you're supposed to take everything that you write freehand, that is just there in the notes, and then go to a plan. The funny thing is, it's hard. I don't think you can have a plan open and a note. Like all the tabs open are over here, and the plan is over here, but it's still pretty side by side. And then sort of like migrate that information over by hand and adapt it into these sorts of things, into this configuration. Now, I don't know what that does in terms of influencing the outline, though. Does a plan build
Like, how does it know what book it's in? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You'd think the plans would be in the book. Book settings. Oh. I guess you just gotta name the plan, and that shit lives over there. And then once you've written it over there, you can come over here and tab over and visit while you're writing a chapter in the book. Alright. The most generic of examples. I guess it's gotta actually be filled in. I didn't mean to change things in the theme. What did I change? I guess that. Alright, well, I don't know. There is still, I gotta be honest with you guys, as we peruse and look and things, I'm not suddenly magically disliking anything. But I'm just, I'm having a moment of realization. It is entirely possible that after a certain amount of effort, I'll be like, you know what? None of this actually works. Although it looks like it does things that I wanted to, none of it internally works the way I had hoped it would. And doesn't, and see, if it feels more like busy work than something that helps actually later then generate content, I may or may not pursue continually using it, especially if there's one of the other options has got the same sort of structures or the same sort of things, but it does more of what I wanted, which is a little bit more like, here's my core input, now generate some more stuff for me based on that. But maybe this can still do that. I don't know. I am, despite wanting to push on earlier, I am totally feeling completely out of steam, despite having eaten. What are we looking at here? That's just the app. We're going to come back to this assignment. Wanted to start playing with story DNA, but I still haven't really zeroed in on like if I want to stick with this short story idea that we had going or one of the other ones. And again, I'm at that headspace now that my brain's like, I don't want to think. I don't want to.
Yeah, I probably should have transitioned to gaming and or just not continue the live stream at all. What was the other thing? There was a couple of other things I wanted to look at. Plus, I was considering maybe looking at like the cartoon stuff, the animating stuff, but woof. No, yeah. My apologies to whoever is currently now watching. Is it Simru Valkyrie? Is that Valkyrie? With a new spelled Valkyrie name? Or am I confusing people? And Enzo423 and whoever else dropped in and or maybe lurking. Yeah, no. I should have. I appreciated that there was a rally by the people sitting in the chat to like encourage me to just keep the thing going. And hello, you're lurking. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm running out of steam. It's the end of a long-ish day already. And I'm still sort of just building back up to the momentum of streaming as much as I had been at one point. But that was all video games, and now the writing is a lot more talking. And the writing is also a lot more staring at the screen in a completely different posture and a completely different form of attitude that is exhausting in a completely different way. But I'm going to get better at it. Thanks again, Simru Valkyrie, and or if that's Valkyrie, thank you, Valkyrie. And if it's not, sorry, didn't mean to conflate you with someone else. But oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to see our quote of the day. Let's go ask Winston for a quote of the day. At the end of the episode instead of the beginning. Here we go. I'll respond to that last chat in a hot second. Okay, get it down. Take chances. It may be bad, but it's the only way you can do anything really good. William Faulkner, a legendary novelist, writer, and public figure. So what I don't remember is there a way to save this? Paste text. Use autosave. Copy paste, export print. Export PDF. So, I didn't mean to minimize it away. I'm back here, Winston. I may or may not be, doing some, actual raw writing here in this environment with one of these fake office rooms and the sound of a magical purple typewriter in the background. But I'm going to tinker with that because it might be fun. What's the assignment? And instead of, whenever I need to, work on text, instead of taking it over to the regular notepad, which is chock full of a bunch of stuff that I've sort of slammed in there, some of which I've done work on, some of which I haven't, but there is no organizational system in that, and hardly ever even put titles on those. But I might try to break that habit by being a little bit more thoughtful and spending a little bit more time in this sort of controlled space to write something, and then export that text, drop it, copy paste it, import it, whatever, over to another thing, to the AI that we're going to churn it through, or the place that it belongs, that it's going to go in as an editable rough draft, that kind of thing. I don't know. Part of me wishes I could muster the second wind. Oh, I should start doing Winston quote memes. know if I screenshotted it or not. Nope. That cleared the page somehow. But okay. Oh. Strange cravings. And some of which are like, no, push on, write some more, or at least dabble with some of the chatbots, the AIs, and get ready to, diddle da. But the thing over there was I was gonna try and like onboard Claude. We're in the middle of some conversation with him. No, I'm not gonna make it. It's a bad idea. Shout out to everybody that did come by. Thanks again. Thank you for being here. Oh, that's right. Sorry, it's just that it's been a hot minute, and also, I'm terrible with names. I'm great with faces. That's right. That's V. Thank you for being here, V. Thanks for hanging out and lurking while you had lunch with your kid. Appreciate it. I need to reset for the end of the day. Break my brain open. I may dabble and do some poking around off stream, but I'm excited for the coming week. I've got a social family thing on Saturday. Rock on, glad we're cool. But other than that thing on Saturday, like for the next fortnight, I intend to be really like leaning into this stuff. Oh, I'm still in the Infinity Portal. Leaning into this stuff, leaning into trying to actually make progress in mapping out and solidifying and advancing the sample chapters and sample ideas from my books into more advanced shape that will, of course, be eventually, the final form. I've just been babbling, but it was good practice. And I did actually learn a few things and write a few good things and hopefully made a few cute magic movie loops. It's been 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 15 seconds. And enjoy the rest of your day, whether it's just beginning or starting to wind down. V, much appreciated. And yeah, good times. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. If I can't sleep, I might come back for a just lounging around session or a playing video games, something or another. But hopefully I don't pass out too soon because it's actually still a little too early to be going to bed. I might be doing some off-stream graphics work. Different parts of my brain interact and or react to being on live stream differently. And sometimes I get more work done better if I'm not also trying to jibber jabber and be a stream host. But other times it's like, no, I should be streaming this. Why am I doing this offline? But as of right now, I feel like I'm hitting a wall. So, peace out, V. Thanks for being one of the more awesome fans of the show. And I'll see you when I see you next time. Feel free to check out some of the stuff here on my video on demand shelf. There's been some weird videos lately as I've been back after the bizarre hiatus. And then stay tuned. Hopefully we'll make a little bit of a headway and then some breakthrough. Alright, catch you later too. Ciao. Hasta la vista, friends. This stream is now officially ending.